Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live with Lee. I'm your host, Attorney Lee Marvin, and today is March 24th, 2025, and tonight is the live version of the Immigration Answer Show, where you can log in and ask questions about current immigration, about past immigration, anything related to immigration. If I can answer it, I certainly would like to do so. Put your questions in the comments section, okay? And if you're joining us from Instagram, if you're joining us from Facebook or YouTube, welcome. I appreciate it very much. As you join, please post in the comment section where you're joining from, okay? So we have people all over the world joining us every Monday, and I love to know where you're joining us from because it's a lot of fun. Connecticut. Patty's in Connecticut. Now, Patty, at first I thought you were saying that you're from in Hawaii because you said hi. That's the abbreviation for Hawaii, but Connecticut. And Patty, I know you were with us last week as well, and you've been here the last few weeks. So thank you for joining us very much from my from my YouTube channel. So thank you very much, Patty. So Patty, if you have questions, as you know, you can post them at any point in time. Joselito, it's been a while since you've joined us, so thank you for joining us again. So thank you for joining us. Joselito in the Philippines. I know it's a very different time in the Philippines right now. So right now, it's in the morning. Okay, I have a question. Until now, my F-130, the I-130, I think is what you mean. No response from the U.S. Embassy in Manila. I'm waiting so long. I hear you, and it's frustrating as heck. So, the only thing I can say is go on and check the processing times. That might make you feel better. Check out my video. You're joining from YouTube, so you can check out my videos how to see what the processing times are. You probably already know. Yeah, it does take a long time, and it's annoying as heck. So if you have a question, please go ahead and post your question, but I definitely feel your pain, okay? So Mr. Caddy, you're known by many names, so thank you. You're in Costa Rica right now. I think you were in Nashville last week, weren't you? I know you go back and forth. And happy Monday to you, sir. Appreciate you very much for joining us. Whether you're in Nashville or in Costa Rica, we always like having you. So thank you for joining. Okay, we got another friend. Elna is joining us. Elna, I forget where you join us from. So if you can put where you're joining us from and what your questions are, okay? Let me see here. So I'm going to go over to my friends in Instagram. There's lots of friends in Instagram joining us. Instagram, please post your questions in the comment section so I can get your questions, okay? So let me know what kind of questions you have, and we'll move forward from there, okay? Let's see here. What else do we have? So I got a bunch of questions that were asked from my YouTube channel earlier that I can get to in just a second here. But Elna is joining us from Montana. Thank you, Elna, for joining us from Montana, okay? So Elna, as you know, if you have questions, please post them in the comment section. Anything, related to immigration, please go ahead and post it. Okay, we've got something here from Gutierrez Nahum. I've finished filing my N-400. How long does it take to get a receipt from USCIS? Well, congratulations on that you're finally able to file for your naturalization. In my experience, you file for naturalization, and it takes about 3 weeks to receive a confirmation from them being USCIS, that they have received your request and that they are processing your request for naturalization, okay? So about 3 weeks. In my experience, from start to finish, it's about 10 months to over a year to actually get your interview scheduled, okay? So good luck to you, and thank you for joining us. Okay, so Instagram, a bunch of friends from Instagram. Ashley's asking, um, when to I-130 interviews since last year, May, and still stuck at interview was. So the online portal tells you that the interview was scheduled, which sounds like a good thing, but I'm assuming that you haven't gotten a notice of that scheduling, actually. Um, if you haven't, if online it says something's happened, but you don't think it's happened, you have the obligation and the opportunity to reach out to immigration and find out what's going on. There's that um, phone number that they have posted on there that you can call. So don't hesitate to reach out to them directly. Okay. All right. So what do we have here? Okay. So, um, okay, Alna. So I've been waiting for this to come up again. A lot of questions on my YouTube channel about this, but you're joining us from Facebook. Or I'm sorry, no, you are from YouTube. My country is on the orange list for the travel ban. Do you think it's safe to travel outside the United States with advanced parole? I do. Okay, so the Trump administration have announced that things are probably going to be happening. To my knowledge, it hasn't happened yet. Just because something might end up being put on a travel ban, it's not official yet. Okay, so I think it's absolutely safe to travel. I absolutely do. If you have advanced parole, that means you're currently in the United States. Elna, what is your status? Okay, because for you to have the ability to get advanced parole, you have to have some sort of status, and I'm just curious what that status is. Is it DACA? What kind of status do you have? Because depending on your status will give me a better idea of whether it's more risky or not. Usually when you have advanced parole, you're absolutely privileged and able to travel in and out of the United States based on that advanced parole. Okay, don't deviate from that advanced parole. If you ask for a certain period of time to travel, that is the time that you need to travel. Otherwise, you could have problems. Okay, so make sure that you're following that advanced parole. The dates, absolutely. If it's an open-ended advanced parole, then you have that right. Okay, so you absolutely can travel. Let's see here. So that's Elna in Montana. Let me go back over to Instagram here. Um, okay, Mohammed Farao. I'm a green card holder. I'm still waiting for my wife and daughter's case in USCIS from the November of 2022. Do I think it's normal for it to be? I mean, that's 3 years, right? 22, 23, 24, 25, November. So this will be the third year. Um, is it normal? Man, nothing's normal. Everything's normal. It's all the way. It's up in the air for sure. Okay, I do think that 2 years. Um, you're a green card holder. Yes, that is normal because the wait time for a legal permanent resident to sponsor their spouse usually is 2 to 4 years. So I do think that's normal. So I wouldn't sweat it. I wouldn't worry about it. It does take a long time. Go to my YouTube channel and check out my videos where I talk about processing wait times, visa bulletin. I break that down and I explain to you each category and the current wait times for this next coming month. Okay, so check out that video. Every month I do it. I've been doing it for many, many months. Check out my video to get the latest on what the processing times are. Okay, so um, let's see here. Okay, question is from Michelle. Consulate interviews for the Dominican Republic. The I-130 is the National Visa Center has taken ownership of your case and is continuing the processing. The National Visa Center is who processes it to get ready for the embassy in the Dominican Republic. So usually it's anywhere from 3 to 6 months, typically, from when the National Visa Center gives you that friendly notice to the email saying that they have your case and they're processing it. It's 3 to 6 months from that period of time, okay? All right, let's see what we have here. Yes, it's my pleasure, Elna. Good luck with everything, okay? I'm here if you need me, okay? So some very interesting questions from my YouTube channel earlier that I wanted to get to. So bear with me here. I have to read them individually. So this is a question so from Mrs. Jin Miller. It says, "Hi, sir. Please enlighten me. Our process right now for my spouse visa is in the National Visa Center, and our lawyer, which should be answering this question, which makes me wonder why you're asking me, which is cool because I'm happy to answer. Waiver is not approved yet. We filed it last year. She said if the waiver is not approved until my interview time, my visa will be denied. What do we need to do about this? Is there any way we can expedite the waiver process? Okay, so this was a video that I posted about the 601 waivers. So there's parts of that question that I have a problem with. Okay, I don't know if you're watching tonight. I'll answer the question anyway. But so your attorney said that if the waiver is not approved by the time of your interview, then the visa would be denied. Okay. The only problem is in this explanation, this person did tell me what sort of visa they had, and that has a massive impact. Okay. Typically speaking, if the process is pending with the National Visa Center, even if I'm assuming this is a fiancé visa, the fiancé visa portion that USCIS approved expires because there's a certain period of time that they say, oh, you gotta do your thing before this date. And if the National Visa Center is taking longer, usually what happens is the embassy will automatically extend the underlying approval from USCIS. They have that authority. Why? Because these things take crazy long to actually approve all the different parts to it. So they have the authority to automatically extend the underlying approval from USCIS, and they usually do, okay? You can confirm with them, but typically they will automatically extend that so you can continue down the process. Otherwise, it's just a vicious circle of expire and expire, expire, expire. So they automatically extend it for you. Typically, you don't even have to ask, okay? So that was a very good question from my YouTube channel. Okay, over here. This is, one second. Okay. I've been getting this question a lot. I don't know if it's from the same person over and over or a lot of people with DUIs that are dismissed. This gentleman, it was one of my videos on YouTube. What is the best visa for an immigrant married to a US citizen? And the question is, hi, I have a DUI that was dismissed. Will it affect my interview? I'm translating because this was in Spanish. My interview for ciudadanía, which is citizenship. Will a dismissed DUI affect my request for naturalization in the interview? Rigoberto Quintana. No. If your DUI was dismissed, typically that means that they didn't move forward and they didn't actually convict you. You weren't convicted. So if they dismiss the DUI, you're not going to have to worry about it. What I will tell you about DUIs is if you've only had a single DUI, even two DUIs, I've gotten approvals for citizenship for people with multiple DUIs. If you have one DUI, you really don't have to worry, unless there's more involved in the DUI, like a hit and run. You hurt somebody, you crash into something, property damage, things like that. If it's just drunk driving, which I know sounds bad that I say just drunk driving, but usually that is not going to have an impact on your citizenship. Why is that? Because even though drunk driving is bad, drunk driving doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Citizenship is all about your moral character and showing that you have the right character to become a U.S. citizen. Having a DUI does not make you a bad person. So, typically speaking, one DUI is not going to break your case. So, you do not need to worry about it. Okay. I suspect that you will get to your interview and they're going to ask you for stuff. They're going to ask you for the conviction, the release, the dismissal of the DUI. So make sure you have all that information with you when you go to your interview, because if they haven't already asked for it in an RFE, then they will ask it at the interview. So take it with you, okay? Okay, let's see here. Okay. This is another question relating to the upcoming travel ban. Will this decision affect me because I'm from Somalia? After I did the interview, the consul asked me to do a DNA test, and they took a sample from my father, and the rest is me. The travel ban will affect individuals from the countries that eventually get the travel ban. Now, as of an hour ago, I looked this up, and the travel ban hasn't happened yet. It's just the Trump administration indicating that he is desiring to do a travel ban, and he listed the different countries, the different brackets, the different categories of the countries that are going to be banned, absolutely banned, partially banned. Until that ban comes across, there's nothing you can do, nothing you need to worry about, okay? But when it happens, whatever that ban says, yeah, then it becomes serious and you have to consider that, okay? Let's see here. Let's see, 1 second here. Edgar, I want to answer your question here on YouTube. If I have two felonies that were vacated by a judge, car theft, grand theft auto, and I get arrested by ICE, do I have the opportunity to cancel my deportation? I-601A was submitted. You always have the right to fight, right? But your success, if you've had two felonies, I don't know your case. I don't know the facts of your case, but two felonies is pretty bad. ICE usually isn't willing to work with people and give them the benefit of the doubt if they've had multiple felonies. So if you get a felony, two felonies, chances are not going to be great for you. But you do have the right to fight it. So fight like crazy. Okay. When you get to immigration court, absolutely fight, do your best to fight. But the last time Trump was in power, these deportations for people with multiple felonies were pretty much the kiss of death. So chances are not good, okay? Okay, so let me go over to sunny days. That's such a great visual, right? Hello, sir. I recently heard that if legal permanent residents go out, let's say to Mexico, they are not allowed to come back in, and USCIS is revising their case to check how the person adjudicated their legal status. So how true is this, is what Sunny Days says or asks. So I don't think it's very true, okay? If you're a legal permanent resident, if you've committed certain crimes and it violates immigration law, of course, then that is always something that immigration has the right and the obligation, actually, the legal obligation to review and determine whether that person is going to be allowed back in the country or not. It depends what it is. If you've had any sort of crimes in the past, always, as a non-citizen, a legal permanent resident or a visitor, you absolutely will be reviewed and evaluated by immigration, CBP, Customs Border Patrol. They will review you to see if you are safe and if they want to allow you back in the country, okay? But if you don't have a criminal history, then there's nothing that they can look at to invalidate your return from Mexico, okay? So legal permanent residence, you're still protected, right? Not like a citizen, but if you don't have a criminal history, you really have nothing to worry about, okay? Okay, let me go back to here. First Instagram, and then I'm going to go back to my other questions I had here. Don't forget to type your question. A lot of people join us, especially from Instagram. Instagram followers, please type your questions in the comment section so we can get to you and answer any questions that you have, okay? Okay, let me take a break. We'll go to YouTube here. Okay, here's a question. So I am a 10-year conditional green card holder. I'm Syrian with a Syrian passport. I live and work in the U.S. ever since 2019. I've vacationed overseas for 2 weeks. Is it safe to travel before the travel ban order is issued? Yes, 100%. Absolutely no hesitation to travel whatsoever before the travel ban, okay? Let me look at the rest of your question. Can I re-enter the U.S. when I come back from vacation? Yes, 100%. If there's no travel ban, you have nothing to worry about, okay? I have no felony charges, and I file my taxes every year. Well, then you're exactly the type of person who should be traveling. You have nothing to worry about, okay? When the travel ban happens from Syria, yeah, you're probably going to have an issue. But remember this. If you're a green card holder, you're a legal permanent resident of the United States. That's different. Travel ban is different. Travel ban is for people trying to get into the United States that don't have legal status, right? Tourists, basically. If you're a tourist from these potential banned countries, well, that's different. That's what the Trump administration is all about. If you're a legal permanent resident, you have legal status in the United States, right? You have the legal right to enter and exit, to enter and exit, right? So just because you're Syrian doesn't take that away, okay? So if you have a legal permanent residency status, you have all the rights and privileges that go with that. Just because you're Syrian doesn't mean anything. Or just because you're from one of those potentially banned countries doesn't mean anything, because you have the rights of a legal permanent resident, and they can't take that away from you, okay? Unless you commit a serious crime, then they can. But otherwise, they can't prevent you from traveling. So the point is, just because you're from a country that eventually has a travel ban doesn't matter, because you already got your legal status before the travel ban. You get what I'm saying? So if you have more questions, let me get the link for people that need to ask questions, because things change, facts change, things, and things change very, very quickly with immigration. So I'm responding to questions based on the current events and what's going on with the Trump administration. That could change tomorrow, and it will change tomorrow, because they change all the time. So that link that I just posted is the link to talk to me directly. You don't have to wait until next week to do this free show, which I love that you do it. But if you have a serious question before then, please click the link and book a time to talk to me directly, okay? Okay, 1 second here. Here's a question, kind of a lengthy question, so let me look at it quickly. Okay, if you have a deportation back like 20 years ago and you're renewing your work permit every year, are they most likely coming to get you? Okay, even though you can't return back to your country of Laos. I heard that if you have a criminal case within 2 or 3 years of today, you're most likely to be deported, even if you done your time already. Okay, so the criminal aspect of immigration is very fluid, meaning it changes a lot. Okay, so the thing is, um, people with prior crimes. Okay, if you're from Laos, I don't know in here if you mentioned you're not a legal permanent resident, right? So your legal status is everything, or the status you have is everything. If it's legal permanent residency, citizenship, right? It's a little bit more clear. If you're here as a tourist, not so clear, right? So if you're here and you have legal permanent residency, again, anything can change depending on what type of conviction you have. If you've committed a crime 2 or 3 years ago, can they come after you? They being USCIS? Well, potentially. It depends what the crime was. Legal permanent residence, it's not that easy to get rid of legal permanent resident unless you've committed a really bad crime. If you have a DUI, that's not going to get you deported. But there's what's called deportable offenses that, yeah, anyone who's not a U.S. citizen can be removed from the United States, aka deported. So depending on what your crime was, you do have a reason to worry. Drug-related crimes are the quickest way to get booted from the country. Obviously, there's more serious crimes, felonies, theft crimes, um, you know, sex crimes, things like that will absolutely make you deportable if something was within the last couple of years. Absolutely. Some of these crimes, it doesn't matter how long ago it was, immigration can come after you and theoretically can remove your legal permanent residency status if you have it and deport you from the country. So, yes, so it is possible. Okay, what is this? Let me go back to Instagram, see if there's anyone on Instagram. Still a lot of people here, not a lot of questions. So I'm going to continue with my YouTube questions, and I will say that if we don't get that many more questions, well, we only have about 2 minutes left anyway. So let me go back here and see what kind of questions I can answer for you guys here. Okay. Okay. 1 second. Um, um, okay, this is a great question because it has been coming up a lot. Can an illegal immigrant take domestic flights these days? I wouldn't do it. If I was living in a country without legal status, I wouldn't be doing that, especially now, right? This administration, it's open season on people that don't have legal status. So I would never get on an airplane if I had no legal status. Okay. You can take trains and buses and cars and taxis and Uber. Don't take an airplane. That's my advice. Don't risk it because it's pretty crazy. I mean, you can do it and you might get away with it. But to me, I wouldn't do it. That's way too much risk. Okay. I wouldn't do it. Okay. So let's see here. This is Hightam. Domestic violence restraining order by consent. No findings of fact or convictions. Can it impact a green card, getting a green card? So if there is no conviction, then chances are pretty good that you're not going to have to worry about anything, right? Domestic violence restraining order. That means that somebody accused you of domestic violence and they were able to get a temporary restraining order to prevent you from theoretically coming and committing more domestic violence. If there's no findings of fact, no convictions, you don't have anything to worry about, it's not going to impact your green card, okay? So hopefully, and if you have more questions, I posted the link above, and that was for Hightam. So I think that's going to be the last question, okay? Thank you for everyone to joining us. And I look forward to seeing you guys next Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Detroit time, for more of your questions. And please log on and ask your questions early on, so I'm not cutting you off at the end when you actually ask questions. But again, I appreciate everything. Stay safe, everyone. If you have questions that you can't wait till next Monday to ask me, the link that I posted in the chat is how you do it, okay? And you can schedule an appointment for tomorrow if you wanted to, okay? So check out that link. And again, at the bottom of your screen, the phone number, the web address to get in touch with me. Please don't hesitate, because I tell you what, you'd rather be safe than sorry. So schedule a consultation if you need answers to questions. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for joining me.